All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Laurana Kuhlman. I go by Lala in my line of work. I'm so excited to be here. Sparrow Partners, who is also Solera, Mara, and Sage, have me here today to talk to you about meditation and the art of meditation, if you so like to think of it as a creative practice. Most importantly, I like to think of meditation as a practice in and of itself. So, how can you return to something new, or that you've been struggling with to try to do, or that you have no information about, and continue to engage in that? So, we'll talk a little bit about that, about my journey and how I got into meditation and what I feel it has done for me, as well as a great little demo at the end that we can all do together. So we'll get to experience my practice as well. So I'm originally from Austin, Texas, born and raised. I studied theater through college and worked in a wellness facility. I worked for Veda, which is a corporation or company that focuses on wellness. So I worked through my college years kind of learning about retail and learning about health and wellness there. When I graduated, I had the intention of becoming a teacher and got into a pretty terrible car accident where I experienced some amnesia. I had a really bad brain injury that left me with some memory loss and some minor injury. So I was unable to kind of pursue that path. I also had to step down from my position at Aveda because I couldn't really remember what I was doing, which isn't really something to smile about, but it's kind of a defense mechanism for me because it was kind of insane being so young and needing to kind of find a new vocation. The neurologist told me that the best way was for me to find something new. Milk and Honey was hiring for a front desk position. So I got a job at a small local spa here in Austin, Texas. And there I kind of exponentially changed my life, learning some new tools of the trade. I got to be surrounded by body workers and people that were just in a completely different life path than me. So I had exposure to yoga and Reiki, massage, all kinds of different self-care that I wasn't necessarily familiar with yet. So that kind of opened up a whole new pathway and trajectory for my career. When I had been working there for about 3 years, and when I was 24, I was in another car accident that left me with a serious spinal injury. I was paralyzed. I had like paralysis on the side of my face and into the right side of my arm and hand. So loss of function of my hand and some things going on where I couldn't feel sensation in my face, and I had like level 10 pain every day. It was excruciating. So just kind of felt like acid dripping from the base of my ear down my neck and into my arm and hand. Surgery was what they were wanting to do. They wanted to fuse my spine from below, right at the base of my skull, to below my collarbone, which would have left me with no flexion, extension, or any type of rotation to my neck. So at 25, that was a huge decision to make, to just like fuse my spine. There was no way to tell if the pain would go away. I was allergic to pain medication, so it made it really difficult to try and manage it. And luckily, I had a great support system at the spa. So I had body workers that were trying to help me. I had yoga teachers that were trying to instruct me. Eventually, I was given the name of a chiropractor who helped me enormously. Hey, Dr. Ron, love you. And with some of these other modalities, was able to start to kind of pick away at what might be happening and how to have self-awareness, which gets me to meditation. Eventually, the pain and the sensation from my injury, I just had to kind of take a step away from everything. I sold, this is kind of an extreme situation, but I sold all of my belongings, asked my best friend to watch my dog, and I moved to the Bahamas for 6 weeks and lived at a yoga ashram in Nassau, Bahamas. So I lived in a tent at a yoga ashram to try and learn. I just wanted to be immersed to try and learn yoga and meditation in order to help alleviate my chronic pain, because I was just at such an intensity. I couldn't have like a normal conversation with someone, let alone like a telephone call or manage like a group of 250 people. So kind of an intense story, but nonetheless, it is my story. Living on the yoga ashram was really challenging and incredible. We woke up really early in the morning. We had karma yoga. I had classes that I had to attend. It wasn't like a walk on the beach per se. So there, I was surrounded by people that had a really established practice, lots of discipline. So we woke up in the morning. There was, meditation stools for us to sit on or pads for us to sit on, and there was chanting and breath work, and it was very regimented. Now that I am kind of years into this, it's been about 10 years since my injury, I have kind of just developed my own path. And so I think where I'm coming from is that you can avoid, like, you don't need to go through some life altering situation or have these things happen in order to then drastically shift into having a discipline. You can just arrive as you are and then see what tools work or don't work for you, and then apply that to your daily practice. After living on the yoga ashram, where I was surrounded by essentially monks that were helping me slow down. I think that most of my life had been about ramping up, like getting through school, finding a scholarship, getting to college, having a career trajectory. Like, how do I get to the top? Like, how am I going to get there? I got to get all of these directives done, and success-oriented mindset. And I think once I slowed down enough to be with my body, as like the accident was like a huge wake-up call. It was like calling me back to self and calling me back to slow down. So no matter where you are in your age or your life, knowing that meditation can be a great space to just connect to self and to be and allow, just to arrive to a space or arrive to a situation, or arrive to an injury, or just arrive to your day. And so it doesn't have to be something super dramatic, just as like it can be as easy or as challenging as it might be. And it might be just as hard for someone to have just an easy daily practice as it is someone that's going through something really intense within themselves. I feel like I digress there. I might go on a few tangents. So when I came back from the yoga ashram, I was able to identify the sensations I had in my body by slowing down. So rather than experiencing it as pain, I was able to slow down and see that they were signals. Like, how can I get really specific about what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling it, where I'm feeling it, when I'm feeling it, and is there a way to slow down enough in that moment and breathe using the techniques of meditation to breathe into those spaces in order for me to make it through those more challenging days with my injury. I can say that after 10 years and working with an amazing chiropractor and building strength in my body, that I didn't end up needing to have surgery, and I've made about a 95% recovery. So I have full range, sensation back in my face and my arm, and I attribute that to a great deal of self-healing and anatomy study and my amazing chiropractor and the body workers and people that surrounded me at the time. So When I think of meditation, a lot of people may go to the place that I went, like, oh, I need to go live like in a yoga ashram, or I need to go be in like a temple and sit cross-legged and have a certain ambiance. And that's not necessarily the case. Like, you can meditate anywhere. You can meditate in your car, or right before you go to sleep at night. You could meditate, on a walk. It really, I feel that meditation is the practice of observing. And if you can, you can make washing the dishes a meditation. It's like, how can you take a just make a practice and then regularly use it to come back to yourself. Like in those moments where you might be feeling fried or stressed or pulled in multiple directions, or you feel your anxiety coming on and a gripping in the chest, or you start to sense those steps of like, oh, I think a migraine is on its way. It's like having that awareness of like, oh, I'm about to get to this really elevated state, or this really flooded state of emotion, or flooded state of pain, or I'm about to go into a group of people that gives me high anxiety, or see family that might cause me stress, or I know that this situation coming up with my boss has been coming for many days. It's like, how can you prep in that way, or have that alert system to be like, oh, maybe I need to like slow down and return to my practice. So why meditation is important is because of the breath aspect in my mind. So when we talk about breathing within meditation, we want to use diaphragmatic breath. So that means using our diaphragm, which is this amazing guy right below the rib cage that's going to help expand and contract the lungs. The easiest way to get that is through abdominal breath. So like pushing out your belly and contracting it, sucking in the tummy. And so you can inhale through the nose, really full, fill up the abdomen, fill up the ribs, fill up the chest. And then as you exhale, kind of contracting that in. If it feels good later when we do our demo, you can place your hands on your chest and on your abdomen and like feel those parts expand and contract in the beginning. And that way it gives it a more visceral feeling of what's happening anatomically for you or internally for you. And then as your own personal preference goes, you can release your hands. There's so many ways to meditate. Some of the major benefits of meditation are stress reduction, helping to calm anxiety, depression, enhancing your own self-awareness, which we've kind of already spoke about, promoting emotional health, mental focus, and clarity as well. The reason that this happens as a result of this deep breathing is that you're taking your body out of this high adrenaline state, this fight or flight state, which you might have heard before. So when you're in fight or flight, you're in your central nervous system, meaning a certain part of your brain that activates adrenaline and cortisol. It kind of helps you run from tigers and bears, or if you're being chased in the jungle. And so when we're in our day-to-day tasks, even if that's just like, oh, I need to vacuum today and I need to go pick up the kids, or I have a Zoom call, or whatever it is that may be happening, or there's a global pandemic, your adrenaline and your cortisol are going to be elevated. When that happens, it does not allow certain mechanisms within the body to engage in digestion or cellular respiration. There's a lot of things that aren't happening because we shut down systems in order to go. So add caffeine onto that, or other stimulants, and stress within a relationship, or stress from your job, or money, any of those things, it's just going to elevate. So when we meditate, or when we use this deep diaphragmatic breathing, it's helping to take us out of that central nervous system and activate a different system within the body, which would be your parasympathetic nervous system. So your PNS system. I realize I'm just like throwing these words out at you, but that would be your rest and digest. So you have fight and flight, you have rest and digest. And when we breathe deeply, we're activating a nerve which runs from the cranium, so like from the back of your brain. It goes all the way down, and it kind of connects to a lot of different organs. It is activated by your diaphragm though. So when the vagus nerve is activated and rest and digest and your parasympathetic nervous system can come into play, it helps with all kinds of amazing things for your body. So when you're about to go to sleep and you feel that kind of twitch response, or your stomach starts to growl and you're like, am I hungry? It's like, no, you're not. Or you're having a massage and your tummy kind of grumbles a bit. That's because you're entering your parasympathetic nervous system. That means you're exiting out, your cortisol is dropping, your adrenaline is dropping, and your body is able to start turning on these other organs and these other systems to help clean out the cells and help clean out the fluids of your body and help you then metabolize a lot of the things that have been going on in the day. When we meditate and when we slow down to breathe, we're able to enter this completely different space that helps lower the heart rate, which then allows us to not need to add oxygen to the blood so quickly. And so there's all these like amazing physiological benefits that happen along with the amazing benefits that it does to your like mind, body, and spirit, in my mind. Some things that are really helpful to me when I meditate is creating a space or an atmosphere. So you might see I got some candles behind me here. If you're into saging or Palo Santo, this is a little bit of cedar bundle from Caracotta Ceramics. Hey girl, if you're out there. So you light this and you can burn it in your home. Palo Santo is like a stick of wood. It's amazing. Incense or spray. You can find a comfortable seat. Right now I'm in a great little chair that I like. It's got a little sheepskin on it. I'm sitting cross-legged just because I like that, but you can have your feet on the floor. You could be sitting cross-legged on the floor. You could just sit in the chair like normal. You could lay on the ground with a pillow under your knees. You could lay in your bed. Like I said, there's so many ways that you can establish your own practice. And in the beginning, staying curious about it and realizing that it doesn't need to look a certain way, and you can create it any way that you want. And so it might be a little bit of a guessing game in the beginning to see like what feels comfortable for you. Like maybe I like sitting on the ground with my legs crossed and my back against the wall. Maybe I like sitting in a chair at first. Maybe I like a chair with a pillow behind my back. Maybe I really like just laying down and kind of taking a nap. Like it's really your practice. Some other tools that are great for meditation would be intention. So you could set an intention for your meditation, which would be the easiest way to do an intention would be to start a sentence with I am, or just a word. Like one of my favorites is surrender. So it's like, I love to struggle with bits of OCD and controlling things. And when I'm spiraling out, it's like I want to grip onto things. So when I meditate, I often meditate with the word surrender, because that's talking about allowing and surrendering, and that I don't actually have control anyway. So if I can just surrender to whatever is going on, usually is like helpful for my brain. But it could be something easy like I am strong, or I am calm, I am here. You can really, you could even just use I am. So many different ways, again, that you can do this. Mantras are really lovely too. Mantras are Sanskrit words that help to create a certain space or energy field around us. Om would be one that is probably most recognizable. That's O-M. And as you pronounce it, it would be like an A-U-M, Om. And so you could think that word as you're meditating with your breath in order to create, again, that certain kind of space or mindfulness for yourself. Mudras are an interesting thing that you could explore as well. Mudras are hand positions that create various energy fields around us. The most well-known would probably be Anjali Mudra, which would be prayer hands, or Gyan Mudra, which are the index finger and the thumbs, and you press them together. And you can place that upright, usually to receive energy, or down on top of the knees in order to ground down if you feel like you need to kind of connect to the earth or ground your feelings or emotions down. I realize this is a lot of information. Diaphragmatic breathing we already talked about. Definitely one of the number one things that will help you with your meditation practice. So that's that deep abdominal breathing that we'll get to do here in a moment. You could also do something physical before meditation just to kind of get the heebie-jeebies out if you feel like sitting still for a while is going to kind of give you the weirds. You could go on a walk or a jog, and then when you come back and you feel like you've kind of exhausted yourself a bit, you can sit down with your body and then meditate. It's also good to do if you're into yoga or practicing yoga. You could do a flow or a vinyasa practice or something that has some Surya Namaskar, some sun salutation, something to get the body moving. We'll do some stretching from the chair today, which I always find helpful, just some like neck and shoulder stretches. Again, remember that this is your practice and it doesn't have to look a certain way. And I'm just going to be sharing my practice with you. So I appreciate you coming along on this journey and knowing that it looks and can feel so many different ways for so many different people, and that this is an exploration, and to just stay curious about how your body's feeling and where your mind is. And yeah. Creating the space, we talked about that. Finding comfortable seat, we talked about that. Connecting to your breath, really important. When I'm saying connecting to your breath, I'm meaning can you connect to the sensation of the air going in and out of your body? Can you slow down enough to feel your body itself? So any aches and pains that might be going on, any sensations you feel, tightness, or anything that's been kind of coming up, and then knowing that it's going to change. Like tomorrow it might feel different, or a few breaths later it might feel different, but being able to just observe it. You can also connect to your breath emotionally. So like, where are my emotions at? How has my day been going? It's just a great way to slow down and check in. Like, am I feeling elevated in any way, or angry or sad? And being able to address those and not have any judgment to them, but just see them as they're arising and allowing them to just be in the space with you while you are exploring your meditation practice. So you have your body, your physical body, your emotional body, and then you can think about your logical mind, like where your mind is. Are you trying to run through a list during your meditation of like what you need to do for the day, or what you have to get done, where you've got to take people, or who's supposed to call, or whatever that might be. Or it could be something really intense, like the situation that we're all in right now with quarantine and self-isolation and cities opening back up and a global pandemic. And so you may be, reeling in your head about different things there. And so how can you allow and see your thoughts from like a third person perspective? So while you're sitting there and you start thinking like, oh, I'm not good at this. I've been trying meditation for so long, or I never thought I would like it, or I still don't like it, or like this is much harder than I thought it would be, or you start pulling in all of these thoughts from the outside world that are coming in. It's being able to use your breath to go into that space, take a breath with it, and then allow it to leave without it necessarily feeling like you need a blank slate. Meditation, the idea that you can just sit with like no thoughts, completely void, I feel like it seems like an unattainable goal. What we want to do is be able to sit with exactly how we are and exactly how we feel, and experience it and allow it, and use our breath to connect to it, and then to observe how we feel and how we talk to ourselves in that space in order to continue to check in and just know that every day will be different. some days like I feel really awesome. I'm like, that meditation felt great. And then some days I'm like, I feel wacky. Like I don't feel like I did any meditating, maybe like a minute of like mindful breathing and connection. And knowing that that's just the way it goes, and having a practice for close to 20 years now, and still knowing that, yeah, that's okay. Like it's not going to be perfect. So we've got our breathing, the physical body, our emotional body, our logical mind, and then allowing ourselves to come back to breath. So just checking in with those things, our physical, our emotional, where our mind is, and then coming back to breath and being able to just continue that process for as long as you decide to set your timer, which, by the way, that's a great tool, is to have a timer. So I like to set up my space. You can place your phone on silent or vibrate or do not disturb while you're doing your meditation, and then set a timer. And that timer can be the entire amount of time that you want to be stretching and breathing and moving. The timer can be set just for the amount of time that you think you'd like to just be quiet and sit. If you do better with music, you could do something with some soft music or something that helps you relax. I personally really like something with crystal bowls or theta waves that's going to be lower than my heart rate and doesn't interrupt, like it doesn't take me away from my train of thought. So yeah, I feel like that was a lot of information. I am so excited again to be here, and so grateful for Sparrow Partners for allowing me to just kind of, you know, go ramble town on you and ramble about my life and about this practice. I've been teaching 15-minute classes via Zoom to the Soleil, Mara, and Sage communities for the last couple of weeks, and it's really just brought me so much joy. And helped me personally with my own practice because I'm doing it with everyone. So I'm excited to be sharing that with you now. So I realize I've been talking, you've been listening to me, doing all kinds of things, maybe milling around the house, and just taking a moment now to find a space within your house. So if you have a chair that you want to use, any kind of chair will do. So finding your seat. If it feels good to put a blanket in it or something soft, or find a pillow to put behind your back, you can do that as well. So like something that can support the spine behind you. As you start to arrive to your space, if you're lying on the ground, that's fine as well. We're going to do some stretches first. So before you get to that extra comfy space, if you're sitting on the ground, that works as well. So if you're in your chair, I want you to think about spreading the feet about hip width apart. You'll place your feet on the ground, lift the toes up nice and tight, tall, and then we're going to lay them back down. We'll take the shoulders up to the ears and we're going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Take a nice deep breath in. We'll exhale out, let them drop. Inhaling through the nose, squeezing the shoulders up, tight, 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 tight. Exhaling out through the mouth. Last time, taking your shoulders up, nice and tight. Inhaling, exhaling through the mouth, out. Good. So we'll take our shoulder blades back like you're crushing a grapefruit. You're going to crush it, crush, crush, crush. And exhale down. Inhale, taking the shoulder blades back, squeezing together nice and tight. Inhaling deeply through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Last time, we'll inhale, squeeze, squeeze those shoulders. Exhale out. Now we're going to combine the two movements. So we'll inhale our shoulders up, squeeze to the back, exhale out. So we'll inhale up, tight, 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 squeeze to the back, squeeze, exhale out. Last time, inhale up, squeeze, exhale out. Good. Now we'll just take a nice deep breath in. Exhale out through our mouth. Taking your arm up and over, you can support the hand onto the knee or the edge of the chair if that feels good. And we're just going to come into a side body stretch. This is to open up the rib cage. So you want to feel a nice deep stretch here. We're going to hold this position for a little while. So as you can see, my elbow, it doesn't need to be straight. You can bend it. You can take the gaze up if that feels good. You can take the gaze down if that feels good. And then just taking a few moments to breathe here. At any moment, if you feel pain, then back off of the stretch. If you feel a little bit of discomfort, that's okay. Can you find space to breathe in a little deeper? One more breath here. Exhaling out. We'll come back to center. Take a breath here to reset. We'll inhale, coming up and over. Exhale here. And again, dropping into your stretch, feeling a nice stretch in the intercostal muscles. So the space between the ribs, into the arm and bicep, tricep. And then just relaxing here. Again, using support on the outside leg if you need, or on the outside of the chair. Checking in with your breath, relaxing your jaw, relaxing the tongue. We'll inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring our arm down. We'll shrug our shoulders again up. Exhale out. Now this is a chair twist, so we'll be doing an abdominal twist. It's great for digestion as well as activating that vagus nerve. So we're just going to gently twist in a chair. If you're on the ground, you can do this as well. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. So just turning the body here, letting our torso move, taking our head and shoulder and our gaze along with it, and just breathing here. And with every breath in, can you twist a little bit further? And as you exhale, sit a little bit deeper into your stretch. 2 more breaths here. Last breath. We'll come back to center. Inhale, exhale, and then we'll come over to the other side. If it's only comfortable to turn and place the hand on the outside of the leg, do so. If it feels better to go ahead and get a little bit deeper stretch, you can hold on to the back of the chair as well. Again, gently breathing in, feeling the sensation of the rib cage turn. Slowly inhaling and exhaling, and just allowing whatever sensation might be coming up for you. 2 more breaths. And returning to center. Good. So right now, you might be feeling changes in your body already, feeling a little bit more ease, feeling like there's some stretch and movement. We're going to finish with a version of cat-cow that's in our chair. By cat-cow, I mean arching and relaxing the spine. So we'll arch and extend through our spine. The way it looks in the chair, so we'll place our hands on top of our knees. And when we inhale, we're going to allow the gaze to go up, the chest to expand. And as we exhale, we'll be tucking the chin and curling the spine. So inhale, extending up, opening up the chest and the heart. As we exhale, pushing out the air, rolling the chest down, tucking the chin, and tucking the spine. We'll be here, follow your own breath for as long as it's comfortable for you. So we'll do maybe 3 or 4. So we'll inhale, holding onto the knees, extending up, taking the gaze up. Exhale, curling the spine, dropping the chin. 2 more. Inhaling and exhaling. Last one. So getting any last minute fidgets out that you may have. You can come to the edge of the seat if you want to stay engaged. If it feels better to relax back into your seat, please feel free to do so. If now feels like a good time to lay back in your recliner or recline on the ground or on your bed, you can do that as well. I want you to go ahead and place the feet firmly on the ground. You can take the hands if you'd like to try a mudra and touch the index finger and thumb together. This is Gyan Mudra. You can place it face up on your knees, face down on the knees if that feels more comfortable. If you'd like to enter Anjali Mudra, you can place the hands at the heart. I'm going to set a timer. We're going to do just 3 minutes because it's it could be your first time. If you've been coming to Zoom calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays, then you're familiar with this. We'll do a body scan and then come into a more restful space. So arriving to wherever you may be, allowing the eyes to close if that feels comfortable to you. Taking the shoulders up and back and dropping down. You can open and close the jaw, relaxing the tongue in the mouth. And as we inhale, we'll slowly inhale through the nose into the abdomen, expanding the abdomen, exhaling out through the abdomen and through the nose. So we're just inhaling nice and slow and full, filling up into the belly, exhaling out through the nose as well. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. If you can exhale a longer count than your inhale, you can try that as well. So inhaling to the count of 3, 2, 1. Exhaling to the count of 4, 3, 2, 1. And from here, checking in. What does your head feel like? The top of the scalp, the hair, the space between the brows, the ears, dropping down into the jaw and the nose, chin, through the neck, upper back, space between the shoulder blades into the arms and elbows, forearms, the wrists, the fingertips, the chest, the middle of the back, into our hips and pelvis, down into the thighs, the knees, the calves, the ankles, all the way down to your feet. And without judgment of what you're feeling, whether it's tension or discomfort or the desire to itch the face or check your phone, just allowing your mind to return to the breath. Inhaling that count of 3 and exhaling the count of 4. If you feel like you'd like to have a mantra, like Om, or an intention, like I am here, I am calm, I am resilient, whatever that might be for you, breathing that in, exhaling it out and knowing it to be true. Any thoughts like where you need to go, or when will this be over, or I'm not sure I like meditation. Just allowing those thoughts to enter like a cloud and observing it for what it is and letting it pass, just like you would looking at a cloud passing in the sky. Are you clenching your jaw? Can you breathe into your shoulders more? Can you relax the face? Do you need to return to your breath? Inhaling through your nose, 2, 3, and exhaling, 2, 3, 4. You may have pets or children or spouses, roommates. You may have neighbors or a lawnmower or someone blowing leaves, inevitably. Just allowing those sounds and sensations to come and go, all as part of your practice. Slowly bring the breath to the space between the brows, the Ajna chakra, your third eye chakra. Pulling in breath to the space between the eyebrows. Exhaling through the nose. And while keeping the eyes gently closed, bringing the hands to heart center. So palm to palm, thumb to thumb, thumb to your breastbone, to your sternum, sternum to thumb. And feeling your chest rising and falling here. Checking in with the heat of your hands. Can you feel the temperature of the air flowing in through your nose and out through your nose? If there are any parts of your body that were feeling discomfort, can you take breath a little deeper into those spaces right now? On the next cycle of breath, we'll take a nice full deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. We'll inhale again. Exhaling out completely. One final deep inhale. Exhaling out. Gently letting the eyes open if that was comfortable for you. You can release the hands. We're going to do a final neck stretch. So we'll gently take the ear over to the shoulder. From here, just breathing for a moment. You can keep the eyes closed if that feels good for you. If it feels like you want a deeper stretch, extend the arm in the opposite direction and you can gently place pressure on the outside of the head. We'll inhale and come back to center. Exhale, release the ear to the other side. Deep breath here. Exhale out. If you want to go deeper into the practice, you can extend the arm and place a little pressure on the outside of the head. Inhaling, coming back to center again, shrugging the shoulders up. Inhaling, exhaling down. Taking a moment to check in with how your body feels now from the time that we started the practice to the time that we finished. any internal thoughts or feelings that you may have, whether they're positive or negative, and allowing those to kind of percolate and realizing that, again, your practice is your own and it's whatever you'd like to make it. If you are a part of the Sparrow Partners, that would be Solera, Mara, or Sage, and you are looking to do meditation with someone, we are doing the Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12:30 via Zoom. So you can ask your property manager to get you the connection point for that, and I'd love to see you there. Also, I have my business on Facebook as well as Instagram, Laurana Kuhlman LMT, and my website's available as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM or text me or email me about meditation or your chronic pain journey or really anything. I've got plenty of time right now. It has been my absolute honor and pleasure to take this time. Thank you for spending so much of your day with me if you watched any or all of this. And I just feel so humbled to share my story and share my practice with you all. Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon.